started. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Verlinda Moore, and I am a career specialist with the Center for Career and Professional Development here at Greenville Technical College. Thank you for attending today's Career Tip Tuesday. So, our topic for today: polish your first impression, tips for being prepared, presentable, and professional in any interview. Our learning objectives for today is for you to understand how to be prepared, how to be presentable, and how to be professional in any interview. Starts with preparation. First, you're going to research the company, the mission, the values of that company. Find out what the products and services are. What products do they make? What services do they provide? Find out what some of the recent news is about the company. What are some of the challenges that they're facing? Another part of the preparation is understanding your role, identifying what the required skills, understanding the role, identifying what the required skills and qualifications for that role are. Recognize and understand what the core responsibilities will be. Know how the role contributes to the company's overall mission. Next, part of preparation is knowing yourself. No one knows you better than you. So know what skills you have to offer, know what experience and other qualifications you have that fit the needs of the company, and be able to connect those qualifications to the company's needs. Be able to give examples of relating to your experience and the position requirements. Show where they overlap, show where they match. Part of preparation also is being prepared and planning to answer common interview questions. Questions like, tell me about yourself. What interested you about this role or career field? What is your greatest strength or weakness? Make those relevant to the job that you're applying for. Why do you want to work here? Shows that you've researched the company, that you know something about the company. Why should we hire you? What's unique about you? That shows that you know yourself. You know what you have to offer this company. How do you handle feedback and criticism? Now, some companies may ask questions in a certain way to find out, and these are called behavioral interview questions, because they're trying to find out how you handled a situation in the past, because it indicates how you would handle that in the future. So the question may be, tell me about a time when you received feedback or criticism on the job, and how did you handle that? Or it may go something like, tell me about a time when you worked on a team. What was your role? And what was the outcome? Or it may sound like, describe a time when you had a conflict with a coworker and how you handle that. Those are called behavioral interview questions. And there's a specific way that you should answer those questions, and that's the STAR method. Responding to questions using the STAR method. STAR stands for situation. What was the situation? What was the issue? What was the problem? The T is for task. What do I need to do? What has to be done to get this solved? The action, A. What action do I need to take to resolve this? And then finally, the result. What was the outcome? So here's an example. In my English class, we had a group project. That was a situation. The task. I was responsible for organizing the presentation. Okay, how am I going to do that? What do I need to do? The A is for action. I created a shared document and scheduled practice sessions. Okay, finally, the result. We earned an A, and my professor complimented the group on our organization. All right, so that was your outcome. Quantified, you made an A. You got compliments from your professor. That is the method to answer a behavioral interview question. It keeps your response focused, structured. You don't ramble. It keeps it concise. So you can respond to a question when it's asked in that manner. Now, another part of presentation is demonstrating appropriate dress and grooming. That means your dress is professional or business casual, appropriate for the industry that you're applying to work in. Your clothing should be clean, neat, wrinkle-free, and fit well. You should wear minimal accessories and scents because you want the focus not to be on what you wore in a negative way, but you want the focus to be on what you have to say, what you have to offer an employer. So let me give you an example of that. When interviewers following your interview, they may discuss how your interview went, and all the candidates, they may do this for each one of them, how the interview went. And somebody might not remember your name, but somebody may describe you or your presentation. You don't want that to be negative. You don't want them to say, oh, remember her with the big eyelashes or the big earrings or the arm full of bracelets that kept making noise or the perfume that caused your eyes to water. You don't want any of that. You want them to remember what you said and not what you had on. So that's why you want to keep these. You don't want to do anything that's going to distract from your interview. Another part of the presentation is maintaining positive body language. Exhibit good posture. Sit up straight. Don't have your arms crossed because your body language will say a lot. If you have your arms crossed, it shows that you're not interested in what they have to say. Make consistent eye contact without staring. Smile naturally and be friendly. It's said that employers hire people that they like. So you want to appear friendly and approachable. All right. So the next part of presentation is practice effective professional communication. Listen carefully before responding. Take a minute to gather your thoughts before responding. Be concise. Don't ramble. Don't overtalk. Remain positive. Don't talk negatively about previous employers or your professors at school. Ask thoughtful questions. Have questions prepared to ask the employers. And ask for clarification. If they ask you a question, ask and you don't understand what they're asking, ask for clarification if you need that. Say, I'm not really sure what you're asking. Can you rephrase that? Perfectly okay. So, part of your presentation and being prepared to ask questions, you need to have those prepared. So think about asking questions about the specific role, about the department, about the company, or the industry. So here are a few questions that you could ask. Can you tell me what a typical day is like? What are some challenges that I might face in my first 60, 30, 90 days on the job? Why is this position vacant? Listen to what they say. If it's positive, if someone was promoted, that shows that there is growth in the company and opportunities for advancement. If it could, depending on their answer, it could show you the environment. There may be issues in the environment. In the work environment, you have to listen to what the employer is saying or what they're trying not to say. You could ask, what do I need to know to be successful in this role? What can you tell me about the manager or supervisor? What can you tell me about the team? It shows that you are interested in finding out more, because it's said that most people leave a job not because of the job, but because of the manager or supervisor. So you want to know, okay, who is the person I'm going to be reporting to? You want to know, are they friendly? Are they approachable? Because when you start a job, you're going to be asking a lot of questions, or you should anyway. You want to know that the manager is open, that they're friendly, that they don't mind you coming in and asking questions. Because you don't want to walk into a manager's office and every time you go in there, they're looking at you like, oh, here they come again. So make sure you ask questions about that. Ask what training or professional development will be provided. What you don't want to ask about at this point in the process is about benefits, salary, time off, nothing regarding benefits. You can save that. Those questions can be asked after you are offered the job. Another part of professionalism is exhibiting professional behavior. Arrive early for the interview, 10 to 15 minutes early. If your interview is at 2:00 and you arrive at 2:00, you're late. Okay, so get there early just so you can get settled, get your thoughts together, go to the restroom if you have to do that, or make sure that you are not late for that interview. Greet everyone you come in contact with respectfully. Provide honest information. If there is something you don't know, say you don't know. Show confidence. Now, this is one thing that some of the students that we interview sometimes have a problem with. They think, okay, I don't want to brag, or, I don't want to say too much talk about myself too much. Well, guess what? If there's any time to do that, this is the time. You should let an employer know what you have to offer in the way of your skills, your experience, your interests. You want to let them know what you have to offer that meets their needs. Okay. Another part of professionalism is following up after your interview. Within 24 to 48 hours, you should send a thank you note or email. Just thanking them for taking the time to interview you, reiterating your interest in the role, and then referencing a topic from the interview, or providing additional information that's relevant that you maybe forgot to give during the interview. Let them, just to remind them who you are and what you have to offer. So that is the end of our presentation for today. We hope those tips on preparation, presentation, and professionalism will lead you to a successful interview. Now, let's see, let me check and see if we have any questions. And we have a live audience as well today. If anyone in here has any questions, I'm gonna ask the live, those in here. Now, if you have any questions about interviewing, anything about interviewing.
What is they expected, like, us to answer for the salaries or benefit? Like, what are your expectations?
If they ask that during the interview, you need to do research ahead of time and find out what that position pays in this area of the country and get a range. I would not give them one set amount because you could give them an amount that's too low and they were willing to pay more, or they could have been willing to pay, you wanted more and they've got this budget they want to keep, but within a few years or months, you could get a raise. So I would give a range. Be
For
prepared.
example, if it's $20, you get say from 18 to 24.
It's something like that. And you can do a Google search. What does medical assistant job pay in Greenville, South Carolina? And get a range, or in upstate South Carolina. Mhm. Any other questions in here?
Yes, what would you do about references for your interview if they have nothing to do in reference to the job you're applying to? I have military background,
Mhm.
but that's in comms and computers, so for what I'm going for now is accounting, I don't think those references would go together.
Okay, well, now you're using some different terminology. You're not talking about references, people who can, you're talking about translating those skills into another job.
No, I'm talking about people.
You're talking about people.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but those people, if they're references, they can talk about, your work behavior, your character. They can talk about in your previous job or however you know them. They can answer those questions.
Would you prefer to have people that I've only worked with or people that personally know?
Okay, preferably it's helpful to have people who have worked with you in a work setting. But if you don't have those, the other people can talk about your character. They can talk about, your reliability. It depends on what setting you know them in. They can answer those questions too. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions in here? Okay, now I'm gonna have to figure out how to go to
Stop sharing.
okay. All right, and I forgot to say this at the beginning, do we have, questions? If you would put your questions in the chat for those who are, online? If anyone has a question.
I have a question that we get a lot.
All right.
That's from my-
What is that question?
If I work in healthcare, should I wear my scrubs to an interview?
The question that the answer that we have to that is no. Don't wear scrubs to an interview. Your attire should be professional attire or professional casual attire for interview, not scrubs, not work clothing.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. One person wrote, I do not have any questions. Is there anyone else who has a question about interviewing that they would like to ask? All right, well, does it seem like we have anybody? We have this survey, QR code, if you would scan that we would like you to take and tell us how, helpful this presentation was for you, or what we need to add, or what we need to, change or improve for you. If you would complete that, we would really appreciate it. I'm gonna leave it up here for a few more seconds. And now this is our contact information. We're located in the STAT building. That's building 122 on the Barton campus, suite 119. This is our email address for the Career Center and our phone number. If you want to reach out to us for any assistance with resume